Hello, everybody. It's Greg Leifel with the Sanfilippo Foundation. Today in our Artist Spotlight, we have a local photographer into Barrington, April Graves of LIghtDrawn Studios in Barrington. We have worked with April for more than a decade on a very specific project that really helps out one of the local charities, the Wings organization in Palatine. And we're going to talk to April about that and find out what that's all about and how you can participate. So I'd like to welcome April Graves.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'd love to have you here. You do a project with us for over 10 years called Beautiful Things with Wings. How did that come about and why are you doing it?
Okay, so Beautiful Things with Wings is a project that I started in 2007. I decided I wanted to create a calendar for a local nonprofit, and a good friend of mine introduced me to the director of Wings. Wings is an organization that supports women and children who are victims of domestic violence. So for every $100 that we're able to raise, we are able to get one night of safety for a woman and her children. So what we do is we photograph angels over at the Sanfilippo estate on your carousel.
So when you say you photograph angels on our carousel, what does that entail?
Okay, so what we do is we have little ones. We have newborn all the way up to like 10 or 12 years old, typically are the age of the participants. The little ones we photograph. So what they do is the moms call. We talk to them a little bit about the project and then we schedule their session. We have all the costuming. So we have the dresses and the halos and the angels' wings. And then they come to the estate and we photograph each family for about an hour. Kind of depends. Some families may have a couple more kids, so it might take a little bit longer. So the children who are 3 and up, we put onto the carousel horses and onto the beautiful gondolas. And we photograph them as angels. So, and we play all sorts of games while we do it. It's super magical. And of course, you know, it's magical because it's so pretty there. And then for the little ones, we photograph in front of the facade, which is just breathtaking. So, you know, just going through all the different poses and playing different games and doing different things to capture those innocent, sweet angel portraits. And then the portraits are then created into a calendar to support Wings.
Fantastic. For those of you that don't know, the carousel April's talking about is an 1890 French salon carousel that the Sanfilippo family has restored. April is the only photographer that we do allow to photograph kids on the carousel because this project was supporting a nonprofit organization. So it's a wonderful opportunity to get a child's portrait on the carousel and on top of that, support Wings. Is there what's the cost structure for somebody coming in to be photographed?
Sure. So what we do is we do $100 session fee. That covers their time with me for the hour. We donate the $100 completely to Wings, and then they can turn that into an evening of shelter and safety for a mom and her children. So it's a $100 donation. There is no commitment to purchase portraits, although 95% of people do at least. And then it's really up to them with what they want to purchase for their own homes. But every child we photograph has the opportunity to be featured in our calendar. We do a selection committee. The top 12 images will receive their own month. And then we do a really great cover vote on Facebook so that people can kind of get the word out. It's a great way for our project to get traction and to garner more support for Wings. And then we create the calendar and we sell that right around the holiday time. And we donate 100% of the proceeds to Wings from that as well.
Wonderful. So it creates a lot of awareness for Wings as well as the income portion of that, doesn't it?
It does. So we often wonder, the director of Wings, Rebecca Dar, and I sit on the board of directors for them now. So we're very tightly related in all of this. But we often wonder which is the better fundraiser for them. Is it doing the imagery and the calendar sales, but then the things that come out of it, you know, people donate to their resale shops. We've had companies do grants because their involvement in this project. You know, they've written $100,000, $200,000 grants because they've worked with me and been introduced to Wings. And so it's really been a great foray for the two, you know, to work together.
in addition to photographing at the Sanfilippo estate, it's not just the Wings calendar. There are other calendars. No, I'm sorry, the carousel calendar. There are other calendars in this project.
There are. So we do 3 different session types. So we do angels, fairies, and aviators. The angels are done at the estate, which you know, and then we do fairies. The fairies are photographed in a couple of local gardens in Barrington Hills that are also donated by wonderful families like the Sanfilippos who really believe in the cause and what we do. And then the aviators are photographed up in Kenosha with World War II airplanes, and those are so much fun as well. So again, a wonderful donor who believes in the project and believes in supporting Wings allows us to play with his airplanes. So I provide all the costumes. I used to be a fashion designer, so everything that the kids wear for the fairies have all been created and designed by me. The angels, it's about a 50-50. And then I curate different props and costumes for people to have for their shoots. So there's a way for the boys to be involved. And then there's the girls. But then also what's always been great is you have that beautiful the steam engine and the train there at the estate and the boys on the front of the train. So we always are able to get brothers involved because they can jump on the front of that train and take such beautiful images there as well. So we try to get everyone involved, but it's a 9-month process. I say I give birth every single year, once a year, to 3 different calendars.
And you've been doing it for over 10 years.
Since 2007, yeah. So quite a while. We're on our 14th edition.
14th edition. It's always a pleasure when you come in, watching you work with the kids, which I've done, not just bribing them with candy, but your infectious personality to get them to laugh and smile and maybe stare into a flower for a little bit for that perfect portrait is so wonderful to watch. You sort of get entranced. And it's often funny when we do this because sometimes I have to walk the parents away so that you can interact with the kids instead of the kid looking at the parent.
Exactly.
But that's a lot of fun. It's pretty easy to show the parents around the estate while you're doing your job.
I think it's as much for the parents as is for the kids when they get to go and see all the beautiful things that have been curated into the collection there. I think it's just everyone walks away just completely in awe of their experience and what they've been able to see. There's such a lot of history there that I think is so special, that is something that you don't even know existed. I mean, when you walk into the space and you think, this is what a carnival looked like. When you think of what a carnival looks like now, it just is magical. The beauty of the instruments, the carousel. And thank you for walking some of the parents away sometimes, because it takes a lot of the pressure off of the kids and the parents. And it always turns out perfectly. I always tell people it turns out exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, some sessions are shorter than others.
Some sessions are, and some take a little longer. But the magic always happens. There's always that moment. It's just.
Folks, I've been there, and April's come over and just showed me the image on her camera, and you know, she must have taken, I don't know, 100 pictures, and just she'll walk over with the one that is it and just show me, and it's magical. Your studio, your photography studio in Barrington works very heavily with nonprofits, not just the Wings thing, but a bunch of others. Can you tell us a little about that?
Sure. So Beautiful Things with Wings was my first foray into working with nonprofits with my work. And then I started to realize that besides Wings, I could use my talents and support other nonprofits and create for them. And so it's really become the foundation of my business. It's the core pillar that holds us up, is giving back to our community. So for every fairy tale I create in honor of another nonprofit. So we do Princess and the Pea at my second studio at the Dole Mansion. And that gives back to an organization called Binkies that makes MRI safe blankets for children with life-threatening illnesses. So for every $100 I am able to get, I then give it to Binkies. Binkies makes the MRI safe blankets, and it's a double win because then they send them back to me. And then we go down to Ronald McDonald House a couple times a year and we donate the Binkies to the kids whose families use their services. It's one of my favorites. I actually met the president of Ronald McDonald House at an event that I support for the Sanfilippo Foundation. So I was able to meet Holly Buckendahl at Carousel of Possible Dreams. And that's how that relationship occurred. We also do Fund a Fairy Tale. that's hasn't taken flight the way we want it to, but we're working on it. We're just trying to make it the right way. I think we're just going to start taking nominations. But what we do is we take a small percentage of the money that we bring in and we bankroll it so that we can create a fairy tale portrait for a family whose children have had severe loss in their lives or who are struggling with life-threatening illnesses themselves, so that they can be whisked away into something different than their existence at that moment. So that is an amazing project. We love that. And so we just continually create. We just are always making up something new. We do unicorn portraits. We're actually looking for a new recipient for that one. So, but as I create, we find people to give to. And then we also always give to all of the galas and auctions and things like that. So.
Yeah, you've worked our Carousel of Possible Dreams event a number of times, giving away portrait sessions. So to encourage people to donate to that project that helps children as well.
Yeah.
It's a very unique thing for a business owner to be that involved with, that heavily involved with the nonprofit organizations in town. What do you feel that does for you as an artist?
Like when I was a little girl, I always said I want to be an artist when I grow up. And I worked extensively at becoming an artist. And as life has occurred, I've become a philanthropist. And I think that it fills me. It gives me a little bit more purpose to what I'm doing. And I feel like it pushes my creativity. I think it enriches what I create. And it helps support my team. I have a fantastic team of 4 women. Well, I'm one of them, but we all work together. And I feel like it kind of puts the coal to the fire. It really lights us up and helps us to have a really positive focus and to always remember who we're working for. It's not just for us. It's not just for the families who are working with us, but it's also the community and making a difference for people who can't make a difference for themselves.
Fantastic. You have a studio in Barrington.
Correct. Yes. In the Foundry.
In the Foundry Shopping Center. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a wonderful studio. I remember when you had your grand opening and how beautiful that was, and the different rooms you have for portraits. Just lovely.
Thank you.
How long you've been there now?
We've been here for 4 years. We're coming up on our 5th year now. And my husband, who's an architect, designed the space so that we could throw events here as well. So we do an event every year called 100 Women for 100 Nights. And that's something that we do for Wings. And what we do is we invite some of our favorite clients and we have them invite guests of their own. And we ask that each woman donate $100 that evening in hopes to reach a $10,000 donation one night for Wings. So that's one of my favorite things. I'm always up for a good party.
So you're over $500,000 donated to Wings from your projects and your company.
I am, yes. Yeah.
That's just fantastic, April.
Thank you.
So let me ask you how the pandemic has been changed your business, the way you do things. Has it been a struggle? Has it been a joy? Has it been a surprise?
It's been a surprise. I would say it was a complete surprise. When we were all put in quarantine to shelter in place, it was about 3 weeks before our angel portraits were supposed to happen. And I had a dozen people signed up to do portraits. And suddenly we were at home and not being able to go out. And it felt like it was going to be the demise of my passion. And it was really ugly for me, as it was, I'm sure, for so many other people. But it forced me to think creatively. It forced my team to think creatively. And we just pushed our comfort zone over and over again to reach out to other people. The first thing we did was decide that we were going to do another fundraiser from home. And that's what we did. We raised money for food pantries. We just kept going and going. And now I'm having the busiest year I've ever had. I mean, it's really been phenomenal. The amount of support that I've gotten from the community, as well as my ability to support other people. I think COVID has been incredibly hard on victims of domestic violence. Its numbers are higher than ever. So people are very aware of the needs out there. So we just keep creating and we're having a ball. Every time I make something new, people want to be part of it. And it's been such a gift and a blessing for us. And we're just keeping on going. I mean, it was scary at first, but I think it really has made us better.
I think one of the things your portraits do are tell individual stories. And when I watch you work at Sanfilippo, I can see you trying to draw that out of the child. Just that, what's that child's story? Who is that child? And it comes across in your photograph so well. You've got some on the wall behind you. I know one of them's your daughter. I'd like point her out.
That one's my daughter.
Your
And then
lovely
this one
daughter.
over here is done at the estate. That's done with the steam engines there. It's one of the ballerinas from BDA, which we also both support.
So if somebody wanted to get in touch with LIghtDrawn Studios, how would they do that?
We can be reached by phone at 224-655-7801. You should definitely go visit our website. It's lightdrawnstudios.com. It's a lot of fun. And then you can also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. So there are a lot of different ways, but there are forms throughout all of our things that allow you to contact us and request more information.
Folks, I work with a lot of different people at the Sanfilippo Foundation, and April Graves is one of the most genuine, nicest people to work with. Wonderful sense of humor. We've toned down that part for this interview. We have a lot of good time. When she does the portraits, she also bribes me with the little Smartie candies.
Have to keep everyone in line.
Everyone in line, including the director. But I would like to say on behalf of the community that you affect, Wings clients, Wings organizations, all the other organizations and nonprofits you work with, including the ones we work with in partnership with you, I'd like to say a big thank you. You're truly one of a kind in Barrington. I don't think anybody has that sort of unique angle of just pulling the charities into your business, into your livelihood, and just telling those stories. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. And thank you for supporting everything I believe in and dream of, because without you guys, I couldn't do some of the things I love.
Folks, that's April Graves of LIghtDrawn Studio. Thank you for joining us in this artist spotlight. I hope you all enjoyed that, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks.